Gathered for game one of this series with the Braves here at the Rogers Center. The Toronto Blue Jays defensively have Ezequiel Carrera in left, Kevin Pillar in center, Jose Bautista the right fielder, Smoke, Travis Goins, and Coughlin, Chris Coughlin, now a member of the Blue Jays, playing third base. Ullman's the man behind the plate. Mike's just got a handful of at-bats in the big leagues, and the man on the mound is Mike Bolsinger, the former Los Angeles Dodger.
Yeah, he's 29 years old, and he's been in the big leagues before, but this is only his second start this year. He started the year at Buffalo in AAA for the Blue Jays. Has made 2 starts against Atlanta with pretty good results. 1-1, a 4.22 ERA. He throws a lot of cutters, has a good curveball and a slider. At Buffalo, he started off wonderfully. 4 games, 2 of those starts, he had a 1.46 ERA with 18 strikeouts in 12 innings. So that got the Blue Jays' attention when they started having some injury problems in their rotation, too.
Yeah, with J. Happ hurt, Nelson Liriano is hurt. You mentioned some of those names on the graphic a moment ago. You add up all those injuries, the Toronto Blue Jays have about $84 million US in contracts on the disabled list right now.
And they just got Aaron Sanchez back yesterday.
So Atlanta will try to take advantage and snap the Jays' 5-game winning streak. Ender Inciarte will lead off the Braves' Toyota starting lineup. Brandon Phillips earns the DH honors tonight. Freeman, Kemp, Markakis have done a great job in the middle of the attack. Flowers, Garcia back at third, Jace Peterson at second, Dansby Swanson will hit ninth. Again, the American League Park, the DH in play. We'll see how the Braves fare in their third matchup with an American League club so far this year. Ender Inciarte set to lead off for Atlanta. He's 4 for 20 so far on the road trip. Ender batting .253 with 5 home runs and 15 runs knocked in. And the first from Bolsinger misses upstairs, and we're underway. Quinn Wolcott is tonight's home plate umpire. A little surprised the roof is closed at Rogers Center today. It's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon in Toronto. But from what we understand, the temperatures are going to dip into the high 40s tonight. And that might be why the roof will stay shut.
Bolsinger's first start, he got shut out by Cleveland 6-0, but he pitched well. 5 2/3 innings. He only gave up 2 runs, walked 2, struck out 4.
Ender had a good cut, and it's fouled back. 1-2 your count.
Bolsinger 6'1", 215, out of McKinney, Texas, and the University of Arkansas. Only 3 hits in those 5+ innings.
So Ender behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one's lifted toward left. Carrera gives chase, but that's in the stands. And a great catch. A fan from Peterborough, Ontario, just made a terrific play. Check this out.
That's why you bring your glove.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Again for Ender, and strike 3. He knew it. Bottom of the strike zone, and Bolsinger has his first out of the night. 1 up, 1 down for Brandon Phillips. Brandon at .282 for the year. He's hit a couple of homers. He's knocked in 12.
He was originally penciled in as the second baseman tonight, but that was changed before batting practice. He's the DH, and Jace Peterson will play second.
That's an interesting move for Brian Snitker, because the Braves are playing on an artificial surface here, and Phillips has had a groin problem. We'll see who DHs tomorrow in the finale here north of the border. The pitch is fouled back. Your thoughts on this turf? I saw you walking down on the field before the game during batting practice.
It's pretty soft, and it's more plush than most artificial surfaces, meaning the grass is longer, the blades are longer, and with the dirt cutout, I don't think it's as big an issue for a guy with an injured leg as it used to be.
0-2 quickly, and Phillips skies 1 to the right side. That's beyond the Braves dugout, and we'll do it again. 0-2.
Blue Jays on average have the highest attendance per game of any team in the American League, including the Yankees. They're averaging over 37,000 per date here at the Rogers Center. I don't think we'll have that many tonight.
The 0-2, check swing, and Phillips is still alive. Pitch number 5 for Phillips. It hit him. So Brandon Phillips is aboard. A 2-strike hit batsman. And Bolinger disgusted with that because now he's got to face Freddie Freeman with a man aboard in a hitterish ballpark. And Freddie's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Pretty good career numbers here against these guys, wouldn't you say? 16 games, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, great on base percentage.
Matt Kemp had a great line at Freddie's expense yesterday when the team was going through customs. First, the pitch on the way is downstairs. Freddie, of course, of Canadian heritage.
That's right.
And played for Team Canada in the WBC. As Freddie Freeman was going through customs last night, he handed over his declaration form and his passport. And Matt Kemp was behind him and said, "Don't you know who this guy is?" Bouncing ball into the shift. The flip to second in time. That's all Toronto's going to get. Phillips is forced at second. Freeman's aboard with 2 outs, and Matt Kemp is coming up.
That was a good cutter that was biting in on Freddie's hands.
That's a 5-6 put out. It was Chris Coughlin who started the forced second. Here's Kemp. As Joe mentioned, he's reached base in 18 straight games. He's hit safely in 13 of 14 games for the Braves. Little low, 1 ball, no strikes. Line into left center field. A couple of rooster tails of that rubberized pellet. And a terrible throw is going to allow Kemp to try to take second. That one hits him in the chest as he slides into the bag. And everybody's safe. Kemp has a 2-base hit and a big bruise too.
Yeah, if it hadn't hit him, Freddie might have scored. Jose Bautista was racing in from right field for just that occurrence. But I think Freddie might have been able to score if it doesn't hit Matt Kemp. Hanging breaking ball raked into left center. Here's another sign of that grass, that artificial turf, being deeper and longer than most, Chip. Otherwise it gets all the way to the wall. And then that throw from Carrero, just horrible. Don't know who he was throwing it to. I guess he's just trying to throw it back to the mound and get the inning started. Continued.
It's ruled a single. He takes second on the throw. And now Nick Markakis, Mr. Clutch 2-out hitter, is up and a strike. Nick's had a terrific trip at the plate. 7 hits in 17 at bats. He drove in the lone Braves run in the 5th inning yesterday down in Miami. He's 72 hits away from 2,000 now. And he took that one low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pretty curveball. 1-2 now. Ullman with a nice stop. Evens the count.
For these Toronto fans that turn out in such big numbers, they better grab a program on their way in so they know who their players are. Ullman making his second start behind the plate. Bolinger making his second start.
Two on, two out, 2-2 pitch for Markakis. Here it is. Line drive into center field. That's going to score Freeman. Here comes Kemp around third. Pilar loads up. His throw coming to the plate. It's cut off. And Nick Markakis does it again with 2 outs. A 2-run single gives the Braves a first inning lead.
Oh hum. Nick does it again. I'll be very interested to see where this pitch was. Looked like they tried to get him with a cutter, and Nick got his hands inside that cutter and got the barrel to the baseball.
That sequence right there is a very small representation of what we saw all last September for this Braves offense.
Yep.
And a big 2-out pick-me-up for Nick Markakis. Brings up Tyler Flowers, the Atlanta catcher.
We heard one of the guys talking about Nick yesterday in an interview, brief interview, saying he spends as much time in the video room as anybody. And I'm sure he was looking at Bolinger to see how he worked the left-handed hitters and how often when he was in jams he threw that cutter.
That's ripped foul past Ron Washington. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So to say he was ready for that would kind of be an understatement.
Well, Nick, far and away the most at bats of any Brave in this ballpark from his days with the Orioles. This is his 81st career game here. A .305 lifetime average at Rogers Center.
Brian Snitker riding a hot bat here, moving Tyler Flowers up into the 6th spot.
Tyler couldn't stop his swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the Braves, who struggled so mightily yesterday with runners in scoring position, off to a good start in the first inning tonight. Leading 2-0 pitch. Fouled straight back. Bolinger about to make his 24th pitch of the frame. And it's popped up. Goins drifts out at shortstop in shallow center. He hauls it in, and that retires the side. But the Braves strike first. 2 runs, 2 hits, a 2-out single by sweet swinging Nick Markakis. Bartolo Colon has a lead. And for Bartolo Colon, Joe, he enjoys something he hasn't enjoyed in the last 4 starts.
Yeah, the last time he pitched with a lead was April 16th in the game he won against the Padres. So this is a rarity for him, but his ERA by inning real ugly in the first 3. That's why in his 4 keys to pitching success tonight, we hope that he warmed up well and got ready for tonight's start, because you'd like to see him have a 0 after 3 outs. In his last start at Houston, 5 runs crossed before he got 1 out. And leading off an inning, every inning, the average for the opponents against Bartolo is .405. He needs to do a better job of getting that first guy.
And that first guy might be the hottest hitter in the American League right now, Kevin Pillar. He is hitting everything in sight. And batting .314 for the year. Pitch number 1 off the plate. Bartolo's night's underway with ball 1.
Yeah, I don't know if they've announced the player of the week yet, but he'll be a candidate for sure.
Popped him up. And Nick Markakis takes measured steps in right field, puts that away. Pillar's out number 1. Toronto at 17-21. They've won 11 of 15 games after starting the year 2-11. They're injury riddled, but hanging in there. And John Gibbons is their skipper. His Toyota starting lineup has Pillar, Carrera, and then Joey Bats, Jose Bautista hitting 3rd. Morales, Smoke, Travis, then Goins, Ullman, and Chris Coghlan 7th, 8th, and 9th. Ezekiel Carrera, a left-hand hitter, takes upstairs ball 1.
It was pointed out clearly from an outfielder's standpoint, when you make a bad throw or throw to the wrong base, how it can cost you. It did for the Blue Jays in the top of the first inning when he made the bad throw and allowed Kemp to get into scoring position.
That missed downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Carrera did have 1 pinch hit and late game substitution appearance, which snapped a long hitting streak for him. But still, in games he started, hits in 17 straight, exactly what they want to see in front of Jose Bautista.
And they've needed that desperately.
Struck him out. Bartolo got some sink on that pitch, and he's gotten the first 2 Jays hitters. 2 up, 2 down for Bautista.
Yeah, he gave up on that one. That's something that Bartolo said he's really been lacking, is movement. That was a beauty. That 2-seamer came back to the inside corner.
So here's Bautista, very patient and very powerful Toronto hitter. 3 homers in his last 5 games. And he takes strike 1. Bautista sees more pitches per plate appearance than any other player in the big leagues. He's seen 2, and he's down 2 strikes here.
Another good sign there. Change up in a good spot. Fooled him, had it right off the end of the bat.
Popped him up. Kemp will come in from left field. He's got plenty of room. And Bautista's retired, and Bartolo Colon fulfills one of your 4 keys.
Absolutely. A 0 after 3 outs.
So we head to the 2nd. Braves up 2-0. Connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Braves home screen icons and app features as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news and more. Download MLB.com and bat today. Good to see Braves fans north of the border here in Toronto. I don't know about you, but this is a real treat to come to this great city. What a marvelous place. We were blessed with fantastic weather today. Not a cloud in the sky. Temperature in the upper 50s, low 60s. Spring has finally sprung in these parts.
Yeah.
And everybody was out and about enjoying a gorgeous day. Here in the second, Adonis Garcia leads off for Atlanta. Adonis at .229 for the year. And Bolinger missed badly upstairs, even count. That clipped him on the way by. So 2 Braves have been hit by Bolinger tonight. And Jace Peterson's going to come up with a man aboard and nobody out.
Back of the arm. Was it yesterday he got nailed in the leg? Yeah.
That leg was wrapped up before the game tonight too. Jace Peterson trying to snap an 0 for 11 streak, hitting .227 for the year. Jace getting the start at second base, his 6th start there this year. And it's strike 1. Got to tip your cap to this guy. He was asked to be a jack of all trades in spring training, and by and large he's done an excellent job.
Well, Dansby Swanson wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I think Jace has taken over that tough out spot in the lineup. He's been hitting the ball hard and sharply, and seems like it's right at somebody every time. Dansby's glad to get rid of it, though. He hopes.
And he's on deck. No balls and a strike. And time asked for and granted. This is the first time the Braves have played the Blue Jays in a regular season matchup since 2015. Braves took 2 out of 3 in Toronto, then dropped 2 out of 3 at Turner Field. A 2-2 home and home series between these clubs. And that's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, the last time we were up here, I remember us going on and on about Devin Travis and what a good player he is and was going to be, and then injuries really set in for the Blue Jays second baseman. It's been a tough go for him since.
One and 2 your count. Well, I think it's an open question. Can Toronto find a way to dig out of this big hole? They were 9 games under 500. They're 6.5 games out in the AL East. And the hard part about a terrible month of April for them is a lot of those games were against division foes. They've already played 22 games against the East, and Toronto's only 8-14 against their division rivals.
They're lucky to only be 6.5 out, especially the way the Yankees and Orioles have been playing.
2-2. Runner goes. Tipped and caught. Throw to second is going to deflect away and trickle into center field, and Adonis Garcia will make his way to third base. That looked like a pinball.
Did.
And neither Toronto infielder could keep the ball near the second base bag. And Garcia is safely at third base after the swinging strikeout by Jace Peterson.
Breaking ball got him. The throw short hopped Travis, I believe. No, it was Goins. And then squirted by Devin Travis. So the infield will come in here.
And that gives Dansby a chance to add to his RBI total. He's got 9 of them. Already 2-0 Braves. And he didn't get the slider. Strike one. Slowly, steadily, Dansby's batting average is climbing. He's up to 174 now. He's hit safely in 6 consecutive games. And not only are the hits starting to come, Joe, the patience at the plate has really been noticeable over the last 2 weeks.
Well, if he's been paying attention in the dugout, he knows that Bolsinger's been trying to bust right-handers inside to keep him honest, and he's hit 2 of them, and then breaking stuff or cutter away, and he chased a curveball away and then laid off the last one. So look middle away, then adjust on this guy here early on.
Fouled left side, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Didn't know this until I read it earlier today, but Dansby Swanson has 7 hits and 18 at bats in interleague play. Small sample size, but gives you some hope here. 3 RBIs in his last 6 games. A fly ball of depth could add to that RBI total. 1-2 the count. And a fly ball into shallow center. Pilar came charging in, made a great catch. Adonis is tagging. He's coming home, and he is safe. He got in. Somehow Adonis Garcia beat the play at the plate. And it's a sacrifice fly for Dansby Swanson. They challenged Pilar, and Atlanta comes up smelling like a rose.
That was great. Wonderful job by Ron Washington. Excellent jump by Adonis. Took about 3 or 4 steps for Pilar to get his feet right, and then the throw was to the first base side. Short hop and got in. Great job by Adonis going in head first and in between the feet of Ullman. But when Pilar had to take that much time to get his feet straightened out so he could make the throw, that was the difference.
So Dansby does pick up the RBI. The Braves cash in a hit by pitch, a steal, and an error to manufacture their 3rd run. And it's 3-0 Braves in the 2nd inning, and back to the top of the order and Ender Inciarte.
His 10th RBI, and it was on a pitch moving away from him.
I'm with you. I love the aggressiveness. I love the idea of forcing the Jays to make a couple of plays. And with the lead, you got the luxury of doing that.
Nobody can throw anymore, Chip. No out. The Braves are so blessed to have a guy like Ender Inciarte who has a good arm and an accurate arm. But by and large, outfielders, nobody can throw anymore with that much accuracy or with that much strength.
Well, it doesn't surprise you, does it? You never see it practiced before a game anymore. Nobody takes infield anymore.
No, I don't.
And it's such a beautiful part of the game. It's been sorely lacking. 3 balls, no strikes. That one an automatic.
And in defense of Pilar, and I love watching him play center field. I mean, it was a play where he's running to his left and had to stop and throw back more or less to his right. So it took him time to get set up. But the point of my conversation here is, so why not send guys? Why not be aggressive? Make them throw you out till they prove otherwise.
Bolsinger all over the place in the early innings in this game. 2 hit batsmen, 2 singles, and now a walk.
He was doing something. He was like he was either getting a cramp in his leg or something before that ball 4 pitch, kind of stretching his legs out. This is a familiar sight right here for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, their trainer might be their MVP, and that's never a good sign. So Bolsinger says he's going to try to continue. They do have action beginning in the Toronto bullpen. Or at least they're stirring down there. So the last thing the Jays need is another starter to go down with injury. It's already a tough enough climb for them now. They're down 3-0. Here's Phillips, the first Brave to be hit by a pitch. Line drive center. Pilar has plenty of room, and that'll retire the side. The Braves manufacture a run without a hit. Ron Washington aggressive. He sent Garcia on Pilar's arm, and Adonis through the wickets beats the play at the plate.
Of the second inning, and Freddie Freeman loves this ballpark for two reasons. One, his mom was from Toronto, and two, because he plays really well here. Coming into this game, he was hitting .500 at this ballpark, and he said he thinks it's because his mom is watching over him. He says he always feels a little extra something when he comes back and plays in Canada.
That's a great thought, isn't it?
Well, you know, Freddie, as Kendrys Morales goes to work, you know, Freddie enjoyed this Mother's Day 2017 as much as any. Certainly his mom on his mind, but a proud father with Charlie and Chelsea with him down in South Florida for much of the weekend. And then to have a chance to represent his, I guess, not native country, but country of his heritage for the World Baseball Classic. What a thrill that had to be, and was for him. No balls, 2 strikes for Kendrys Morales. Back to the mound. Bartolo spears that. Yes, that's Rob Manfred's signature. And the throw to first in plenty of time. 4 up, 4 down. Bartolo wants to make sure. You never know. And Morales is out, 4 up and 4 down.
You know, as rough a time as he's had, 1-4 coming in with a 7.22 ERA, which is the highest in Major League Baseball. The team is 3-4 in his 7 starts. Those things don't all go together.
Right. Here's Justin Smoke, switch hitting first baseman for the Jays, batting left-handed here, of course. He's hit a couple of home runs on the Jays' 6-1 homestand. That's up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if Bartolo Colon was a 23-year-old kid making his first or second season of work in the major leagues, you'd be extremely concerned. That he's a veteran, I think, gives you some feeling that he's going to figure it out. But in the back of your head, you wonder about father time, too. So there are a lot of things in play when a guy like Bartolo Colon has the rough stretch that he did over the last 4 games. But so far, so good tonight. And off the plate.
Yeah, to your point, a young guy, you wonder if he's got it in him to pitch at this level. This guy's proven that. You just wonder if he's got anything left to pitch at this level.
Lined into the right field corner. And a fan interferes. And he will be forced to root for the Ottawa Senators and expelled from the ballpark. Not sure which is a greater penalty at this time of year. And that's the first Toronto hit.
Like they're calling the principal. Smoke got a fastball. Was trying to sink it down and away from him. But along with Carrera, those two guys have been pretty much carrying the load offensively for the Jays.
So Toronto has a scoring opportunity in the second inning. Devin Travis, their second baseman. Like the Jays, he got off to a very slow start at the plate. He's hitting just 178. But his bat has been peppering this park with doubles. And that one stroked to center. Ender on the run. That ball's going to carry over his head. And that'll be a ground rule double. Another two-bagger for Travis. And the Jays come right back to cut the lead to 3-1.
That's the Devin Travis we saw 2 years ago. And then he got hurt, missed a lot of time in 15. Last year came back and had career highs in a lot of different categories. And as you said, beginning to tune it up. That makes him 7 for his last 18 during this hot streak the Jays have been on.
So Travis, the pride of Florida State University, still lives in West Palm Beach, drives home his 7th run. It's a 3-1 game now for Ryan Goins. And that's out of play, foul. Goins is in for Troy Tulowitzki, who injured his hamstring running the bases. That's got to be the real frustrating thing for John Gibbons. They've had all kinds of leg injuries simply by running. And that's caught up with them here in the month of May. Nothing in 1 the count. And he didn't get it.
Yeah, the word was that they didn't spend a lot of time running the bases in spring training because it interfered with what their conditioning guy said was something that was more important. How important is it now?
Steve Pearce got hurt running the bases yesterday against Seattle. Had to walk off the field with a calf problem. Tulowitzki with a hamstring.
Donaldson, his calf. I'm sure that all of this extra conditioning and exercise is good for everybody's health. But you still got to do baseball work. You've still got to do baseball drills and exercises that you will be doing in a game.
1-2 pitch. High fly ball right center. Ender's going to track that down. And he makes the catch. No advance by Travis. 2 men are out.
You know, it befuddles me. Is that a good way to go?
It's a great word.
Okay, keep me from cussing.
Well, you can do it once,
yeah.
as you know.
How baseball's gotten away from doing baseball type conditioning, and as an example, base running, and doing a lot of base running drills in spring training, which we always did as a conditioning part for cardio too, to get in shape, not let alone the part of the art of cutting bags on going first to third or whatever.
Mike Ullman is 0 for 3 in the big leagues with Toronto this year.
It's a frustration I have with lack of throwing from outfielders. How are you supposed to, even if you have a good arm, how are you supposed to maintain an accuracy if you never do it? You don't practice it anymore.
I didn't know that you could bring your common sense soapbox with you through customs and get it to the booth here in Toronto.
It was tricky.
Mike Ullman, who's been with the Orioles, Cardinals, and now Blue Jays organizations, with Russell Martin hurt. The original plan for Toronto was to have Martin and Jared Saltalamacchia working behind the plate. Things did not go well for Jared here, and they released him. So now it's been a scramble to fill that spot, and Ullman gets the start in game 1 tonight.
Big guy.
6'5", 215. Another Florida kid. Hot shot to Adonis. And he makes a perfect throw, and Bartolo Colon gives up a run, 2 hits, and that's all. Freddie Freeman's coming up, folks. An exciting start in Toronto. 3-1 Braves lead it. Freeman, Kemp, and Markakis coming up. 3-1. Atlanta leads. Freddie Freeman bounced into a force play his first time up. Matt Kemp with a single, took second on a bad throw, and then Nick Markakis with a 2-run, 2-out hit gave Atlanta a first inning lead. Let's see if they can do it again. Freddie Freeman, can you believe it? 8 hits away from 1,000. And it seems like yesterday he got his first major league home run against the Phillies.
That's true. It's flown by.
And speaking of time flying by, you know whose birthday it is today?
Yes. I know a couple of people.
First, the 1-1 pitch. And Freddie skies it toward left. Carrera is there. And he makes the play for the first out. Happy birthday to John Smoltz. Welcome to the club, John. Big 5-0 today.
That's all?
That's it.
Huh.
That shot in the bottom is a much more representative look at how John is featuring the hair these days. So
it is. You're right. Happy birthday, John.
Matt Kemp scorches one. No chance for Smoke to get that. Kemp's 2 for 2.
It's also Beth Marshall's birthday. Happy birthday to Beth. Back in Atlanta getting ready for the homestand. Cutter in the middle of the plate. Hit hard and threw a mini shift. And one more guy. Beth's not a guy. John, Beth. So along with John, another guy.
Gotcha.
George Brett.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Send him a bottle of pine tar.
He's got all he needs.
1 ball, no strikes for Nick Markakis. 3-1 Atlanta. And a strike. Nick Markakis has reached base in 31 of his last 34 games and has scored 19 times in that stretch. And he smokes that one to second. What a play. Goins turns it. Devin Travis handled a screaming Mimi at second base and starts a 4-6-3 double play. That was gorgeous. Tough break for Nick Markakis. Toronto's coming up down 2. Time for the Jays half of the 3rd inning. Atlanta leads 3-1. Chris Coghlan, a familiar face for Braves fans, will lead off. He was signed by the Blue Jays on April Fool's Day, debuted April 15th against Baltimore, picked up his first hit on April 16th. Hits have been few and far between since for him, however, as he's riding a current 0-for-12 streak. But that doesn't bother him when he faces the Braves, does it?
I was going to say between he and D. Gordon, be a pretty good 1-2 punch against Atlanta. Here's that leadoff man who's 0 for his last 12. They can put it in play.
That's bounced foul. When the Blue Jays score a run, their radio announcer Jerry Howard has a saying, "The Jays are in flight." No man took that more seriously than Chris Coghlan against the Cardinals this year.
Play at the plate. He was going to be a dead out, but he did take flight over Yadi Molina. Safe. It's one way to get home.
Right. Popped up. And Tyler Flowers behind the plate. Puts it away, and Coghlan's retired for the first out. And back to the top at Kevin Pillar.
Good comeback by Bartolo.
This young man's a terrific player, as you said, and I love talking about stories like his in this regard. You know about #1 picks, you know about bonus babies, all that stuff. Kevin Pillar was anything but that. He was a 32nd round pick back in 2011 and just worked his way through the system, and now having a tremendous year in center field. Second in hits in the American League with 48. And his bid for number 49 is bounced foul on the left side.
He went to Cal State, a Division II school in Carson, California, and while he was there, he set the Division II NCAA record with a 54-game hitting streak in 2010. I don't care where you're playing. That's impressive.
Saw the walk-off he hit against Seattle. And he's not a one-dimensional player. He can go get him in the outfield, as we've showed you already tonight. He flied out to start the game. And he's going to ground out to short with a clean throw. Dansby off balance. Freddie held the bag somehow. What a great play by the Braves first baseman to tumble into foul ground and keep his foot on the bag to get Pillar.
Did he stumble on the bag a little bit? I've never seen him do that, where he took the throw in foul territory. But he definitely kept his foot on the bag. And the throw beat him.
That was incredible.
Scott Berry's the first base umpire. He's got his foot on there and he's got the baseball. No argument. What a play.
So Cologne's retired 4 straight. Here's Carrera, who struck out his first time. Bautista, then Morales on the lineup card for the Jays. A lineup card that's again decimated by injury, but also missing Edwin Encarnacion. That is a big hole they've had to fill in the DH slot for Toronto, or first base.
That's why the signing of Kendrys Morales was so important.
And Cologne, with a 4-pitch walk, will bring Bautista to the plate with a chance to tie the game in the 3rd inning. Not what Bartolo wanted to do, his first walk of the game. Might remember Bautista last year talked about his hope for a multi-year contract and $150 million or more. That didn't happen. In fact, he was out there for the taking for anybody if he was willing to sign, and finally he and the Blue Jays settled on a 1-year deal for the 2017 season. 1 ball, no strikes. And don't worry, he's not searching through the couch cushions looking for meal money.
Yeah.
But again, the question for Bautista, was last year just a bad year because of injury, or was it the sign of decline at the age of 36? Good pitch.
I think the Blue Jays made it very clear from the get-go that they couldn't afford to sign Encarnacion and Bautista. So when they were not able to sign Encarnacion, and they were able to reach at least a 1-year deal with him, even though it wasn't a multi-year for the money he wanted. Gave him some room to go get Kendrys Morales too.
Well, 2 years ago, Bautista hit 40 homers and knocked in 114 runs. Last year he hit 22 and drove in 69. And didn't appear healthy when he played the outfield. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scorched into right field. That's a hit. That came on a 1-2 pitch. So 2 are on, 2 are out. Here is the DH, Kendrys Morales. He was a 30-homer man for the Royals last year.
That was a good swing there by Bautista. Behind in the count. Wasn't trying to hit one in the upper deck. Was trying to hit one hard somewhere, and the Braves had a bit of a shift on for him and took advantage of it. Fastball away, drove it that way. Not used to seeing him do that.
Morales 0 for 1. He tapped back to the mound. And he swings the first pitch and hits it a mile high to straightaway center. And Bartolo Colon is out of trouble in the Toronto third. No runs, a hit, 2 Jays are left. 3-1 Atlanta the lead as we head to the fourth. Enjoy a 3-1 lead. Here's your game summary. Bartolo Colon got off to a great start. Braves got a 2-out hit from Nick Markakis. They manufactured a run in their second inning without benefit of a hit. Great slide by Adonis Garcia. And how about Freddie Freeman?
Yeah, great play all around from all of those guys. Travis with a line drive double over the head of Ender Inciarte. With that slow motion slide at home plate by Adonis, he was lucky he didn't get arm whipped there. I mean, as hard as he hit the shin guard.
So the game summary brought to you by Infinity. And we head to the fourth inning. Flowers, Garcia, and Jace Peterson are coming up. That's off the plate. Bolinger trying to rediscover the magic. When he broke in with the Dodgers, he started his career with a 3-1 record, a 105 earned run average. 3-1, 105. He enters play tonight with a lifetime record of 8-17, a 4.57 ERA. So times have been tough for Mike, whom Toronto acquired from Los Angeles for Jesse Chavez. Into center field. Flowers reaches out and hits a 2-strike pitch for his first hit of the night.
79 mile an hour beauty too, right off the end of the bat. Curveball just lofted up there, hung up there, gave him a chance to get to it. Another leadoff man aboard.
Second time in 4 innings the Braves have done that. Here's Adonis. He was hit by a pitch and scored, as we said. Takes outside here. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, we have seen Braves pitching opponents throw a lot of cutters. Nicolino had the cutter working in Miami yesterday.
He did.
Bolsinger's has been in and out tonight. And that one in and jammed him and fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Flowers a short lead at first. Now the 1-2 is whacked toward third. Diving stop. Throw to second in time for the first out. Chris Coughlin with a super play to force Tyler Flowers. 1 on, 1 out, 3-1 Atlanta. Let's check in with Jerome for a game break. Okay, Jerome, thank you much. The Indians start play today, a game behind Minnesota in the Central. Cleveland has been a better road team than home team, somewhat surprisingly. The reigning American League champions try to catch the Twins, who are off to an excellent start in 2017. Jace Peterson, the batter, 1 on, 1 out, and now ball 2 to him. That went all the way to the backstop, and did that hit him? Yeah, I guess it did. Another hit batsman. Bolsinger has hit a 3rd Braves hitter.
He's thrown so many hangers already, Chip, that he's trying real hard not to do that anymore. But in the process, he is really cutting off some pitches. This is a slider hit Jace right in the foot.
Now, Mike's had a ton of base runners in this game. 3 hit batsmen, a walk. He's given up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. And a ton of pitches. 61 of them. And now Dansby hits with a runner at second, a runner at first, 1 out. Swanson's 10th RBI was in inning number 2 when Adonis Garcia came home. With his great slide, the pitch. Slider strike. Arbuckle Jenkins tells me there's only one other pitcher that's hit 3 guys in a game this year, and that's Drew Storen.
That was probably in relief.
That's a rough relief outing.
Yeah.
For the pitchers and the offense that he faced. 0-1 for Dansby. And that stayed high.
He tells me that all 3 hit batsmen for Storen were in the same inning.
Yowzers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rolled foul. It's 1-2.
Fell behind in the count last time up when he hit that fly ball that was just deep enough and in place just correctly enough to get Garcia home. But again, look, middle away. You can adjust anything from this guy. Middle in, he's not throwing all that hard.
Shot down the right field line for Dansby. That'll ricochet off the fence. Garcia's going to score. The throw to second is going to beat him. Atlanta gets their 4th run. It's a single and an RBI for Swanson. But he's thrown out at second base on a bang play by Batista.
Dansby's hanging around second like he was waiting to see if they were going to challenge it. But a great piece of hitting here. Behind in the count. Fought it off inside. Kept it fair. Got a run in. The hard part was the fact that it bounced off the wall, and Batista knows how to play that corner down there and made a strong, accurate throw to second base. And it looked like they got him cleanly. Great swing, though.
So a 2 RBI night for the Braves shortstop. Garcia scored 2 runs. Atlanta adds to the lead. It's 4-1. Popped up by Ender at third base. Coughlin in foul ground right inside the third base coaching box. And that will retire the side. 1 run, 2 hits, a man left. Braves off to a flying start in Toronto.
And by Delta Airlines.
Look at that. That looks like Willie Pletzo uniform right there. His old sweater. Has some Thrashers gear.
Yeah, you can't come to Toronto and not make a visit to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Sean Farnham, our great videographer, put on the foil. Started talking about Eddie Shore and old-time hockey, and they gave him a free ticket to go. Look at all that great memorabilia. Justin Smoke is going to lead off. He doubled and scored in the second for Toronto. This is a great sports town. I asked you on the bus ride coming over. I wasn't with the Braves when the Braves and Jays were fighting it out in the World Series. When Toronto was at the top in postseason play. As another one back to the mound for Bartolo with the first out. Just watching the games on TV, it looked loud. I can't imagine what it was like to work a game in this place when the Jays were doing that damage to the rest of Major League Baseball.
They were a great team, needless to say. But I was here last year for Game 3 of the playoffs between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. And you couldn't hear yourself think when the Jays came back to win that game late. And it was crazy in here.
This has been a wonderful franchise. Of course, Bobby Cox had so much to do with that in the 80s when they played at Old Exhibition Stadium and then moved here to what was then called the Sky Dome. They have here what's called the level of excellence, which is right above the third deck of the stadium. And all of their great players and executives are honored on the facade of that suite level. From foul pole to foul pole, Carlos Delgado, Tom Cheek, great broadcaster here for so many years. Tony Fernandez, Joe Carter, who hit one of the most remarkable home runs in World Series play. Still hear Tom Cheek's call. Touch 'em all, Joe Carter. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Ground ball deep short. Dansby retreats. Got rid of it quickly, and Freeman couldn't hold the bag that time. And that ball's going to ricochet into the box seats on the first base side. And Devin Travis will end up at second base. Ball was hit into a perfect spot. Dansby just had to hurry the throw to have any chance.
Yeah, but he was throwing, falling away. Even if the guy beats it out, and see how much air he had to put under that because he was not able to get a lot on his throw. I'd much rather see him, and I'll bet Ron Washington would too, plant that foot, cut it loose. If it doesn't get there in time, it doesn't. E6.
So Ryan Goins, the batter, he popped out to center his first time up. He's got 8 hits on the homestand. Again, it's Goins filling in for Troy Tulowitzki.
They've got 4 hits on the board for the Jays, so it must have been a hit and an error.
Yeah, I think they just added the hit part to that. So Travis is 2 for 2. Goins did a great Troy Tulowitzki impersonation a couple of years ago, as this one's hit toward deep left center. Ender makes the play for the second out. We've had some great shortstops play in this organization. Did you know that Ryan Goins was the first ever Jays shortstop to have a 5-hit game?
No.
First one. That was September 30th, 2015. That guy was pretty good.
Yeah, that guy right there is not too shabby either.
So Flowers wants to see how Bartolo wants to handle Ullman, the catcher. Bounced out on a hard hit ball last time up. Much better results for Bartolo Colon tonight than we've seen in his last 4 outings. That's very encouraging. The pitch is scorched out of play, strike 1. Ullman made his major league debut on Tuesday night. I told you he's been in a couple of big league organizations. It's taken him a long time to get to the show, but here he is.
26.
He'll try to improve on the Jays' 1-for-5 performance with runners in scoring position at this point. And he might. Ender is going to play that on a hop. Travis will come around and score. It's a 4-2 game.
First big league hit for him.
And it's an RBI hit. How great is that? You know what that feels like. Stand there knowing you've made it to the big leagues after all those years in the minors, and he scores a run as well.
Two-seamer that instead of sinking just kind of was flat, coming right back into the barrel of his bat. Big thrill for him.
So Chris Coughlin's up. He represents the tying run. He's 0 for his last 13. And that's up and in. Ball 1.
The other catcher on the roster that is trying to help fill the void left by the injury to Russell Martin is 1 for 31. So they're having a hard time getting much production until that base hit by Ullman out of the catching department.
Russell Martin's got a left shoulder impingement. It was affecting him so much he couldn't catch anything up in the zone. It was hurting him that much. And he certainly is missed by the Jays. 1-0 pitch, and that's outside. Martin, of course, a native Canadian and an extremely popular player for that and many other reasons here in Toronto. Hits are even at 5 apiece. The Braves lead 4-2. And another pop-up. Swanson out, Kemp in and under, and that retires the side. First big league hit for the Toronto catcher. That cuts the lead in half. It's 4-2 with Brandon Phillips coming up. Up front at home in the Western Conference Finals, we've got your Preds post-game analysis with Terry Crisp and Lindsey Rowley on Predators Live Playoffs Edition here on Fox Sports South at 11:30, 10:30 Central. Tune in following the Preds Game 3 action. Phillips, Freeman, and Kemp are coming up. Bolinger trying to hang in there and keep the Jays close. It's 4-2. Atlanta with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 more in the fourth. Toronto with single runs in the even innings tonight. And good on-speed pitch. Phillips swung and missed. 0-2. Action has begun in the Toronto bullpen. J.P. Howell, a left-hander, is up and loosening. Way high. Jays bullpen's done a respectable job. However, they're pitching way too many innings. Toronto's hoping that doesn't catch up with them in the heat of the summer. The pitch is cued foul.
And J.P. Howell has really struggled. He hasn't pitched that much, but he's had base runners everywhere.
Swing and a miss by Phillips. Maybe the best sequence of the game from Bolinger.
Just about to say the same thing. Good finishing pitch. Got that breaking ball down.
Now Toronto shifts with Freddie Freeman up. Freddie reached on a force play in the first and scored. He's also flied out to left. Mile high fly ball to center, but Pilar is drifting back and the park's big enough to hold it. Freddie just missed. 2 are out, and Matt Kemp will try to keep his perfect game at the plate alive. Matt's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Rolled foul, and strike 1 to Kemp.
Pretty good pitch.
Didn't get the call, though. It's even. Matt went around on that one and finds himself behind. Well, what a difference a game makes when you get the first couple of runs. We talked about that in reverse for Atlanta and how hard it's been for the Braves to come back. Well, tonight they jumped all over Bolinger in the first inning with a big 2-out run scoring hit from Nick Markakis. And they've added on tonight.
It's more relaxed. There's no pressure to get that 1 run back, or in some cases 5 runs back. You know, like the game in Houston when they fell behind 5-0 in the first inning. You can say, okay, well, it's a long game. Let's peck away at it. And the Braves put together a pretty good inning later in that game and scored, I think, 3 runs. And you're still down 2.
Right.
So you've got to do it again.
And with the big league bullpens the way they are, that's an almost impossible task to do on a consistent basis.
And oh, by the way, the other team's still trying to score some more too.
Pitch number 81 for the Jays right-hander. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes, and it skipped up there. It's a full count. First full count from Bolinger tonight. He does have a walk. He's got 3 hit batsmen. Line down the left field line. That's going to get down and rattle around for a moment. And Matt Kemp is on his way to second base. He's 3 for 3. And he continues his red hot hitting. A 2-out double.
Boy, did he wait on that pitch. And remember, it's 3-2, so he's probably looking fastball, but he got a breaking ball, and he waited, kept his hands back so beautifully on this. Talked about him at the beginning of the game and what a good job he's doing. He was all set up for a fastball, but he didn't commit his hands and still waited on that hook. Well done.
Matt's 4th 3-hit game this year. That's most on the team. And 11 multi-hit affairs. Nick Markakis 1 for 2. Braves are 2 out of 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. That'll make you feel good after the struggles in Miami. See if Nick can come through again with 2 men out. Up the middle. Goins dives, can't stop it. Kemp around third. Pilar won't be able to pull the trigger this time, and Markakis has another 2-out RBI tonight. Incredible. It's 5-2.
You know how everybody's been calling him Mr. Consistency lately? I got a new name for him. Mr. Automatic. 2-out guy in scoring position. It's automatic. Why not just put him on and try your luck with somebody else? I know Nick's glad they didn't.
So the Braves add another 2-out run. Four of their 5 have come with 2 outs tonight. Tyler Flowers had a 4th inning single. He's also popped out to short. Toronto's had to play catch up all night tonight. They're down 3 runs again. And that just missed. 2-1. Stop. 3 balls and a strike.
Here's something I don't quite understand, and I'm sure there's a good reason for it, because John Gibbons is a good manager with the Blue Jays, got them to the postseason last year and advanced through the wild card. Is if you've got Markakis up there and you've had this left-hander warming up in the bullpen the whole inning, if you're going to pitch to Markakis, then why not bring that left-hander in that's been getting ready? If you don't want to pitch to him, put him on and have the right-hander pitch to Flowers, which didn't work out so well either. But that guy's been warming up the whole inning, and he's still down there.
It's like he's made an appearance already before he's thrown a pitch that counts. So Flowers walks. Garcia's the batter. Adonis is 0 for 1, but he scored twice. So far so good. Midway through game 1 in Toronto. We'll have Braves Live afterward. It's presented by Xfinity.
Another thing, don't they have like 9 relievers?
They do.
On their roster right now, and only 2 backups players?
That's it.
I've never heard of such. They've got Darwin Barney and a backup catcher, Luke Maile.
Of course, in the American League, one of those extra players is their DH, so you don't have the double switch. You don't have to worry about that. So, but I'm with you. I've never seen a pitching staff as deep on paper as this one. And Bolinger just continues to toil here in the 5th. All this trouble with 2 outs. And again, it's just a guess. We won't know till after the game. Maybe Gibbons knows that with all the innings his relief corps has thrown, 2nd most innings in May in relief, 1st most innings in the league overall, and the troubles that Happ has had. Take your chances with Bolinger. It hasn't worked. And another nice stop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bolsinger's faced the minimum in only 1 inning in this game. That was the 3rd. And he was lucky to have that happen. Nick Markakis hit a rocket to second that Devin Travis turned into a double play. And now Bolinger got ahead 0-2, and he can't get the pitch closer to the dish. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Remember they checked on him earlier? His arm's either worn out or something's hurting, and he's trying to pitch through it.
And that one's in the dirt.
I have to think he's really hurting. He's walking around now like he can't even put the baseball in his hand.
Well, if he has any hopes of winning this game with Toronto coming back, he's got to pitch at least 5 innings. That might be playing into it as well. Give him a chance. But another runs here across here in the 5th, and after an 0-2 count, now he's got 3 and 2. The runners go, and the pitch is bounced up the middle. Goins can't stop that. Another run's going to score. Here comes Flowers to third. He'll stop there. And Adonis Garcia has an RBI hit. And I think that's going to be the end of the line for Bolinger, who gave Toronto everything he had in this game, but the wheels came off the wagon in the 5th. So Toronto's right-hander will leave after allowing 6 runs, 3 hit batsmen, 2 walks, and 4 2/3 innings. 6-2 Atlanta leads north of the border. Jay Happ coming on.
Local Ford dealer, and the Georgia Lottery.
Good 5th inning for Atlanta. 2 runs, 3 hits, a walk, all with 2 outs. Mike Bolinger departs. And it's not Jay Happ. I had Jay Happ on the head. It's J.P. Howell, I beg your pardon, is on in relief. He'll try to get Jace Peterson and send the game to the home 5th.
As I said, he's off to a rough start. 7 games, but only 3 innings of work, 4 walks, and a 9 ERA. Sinker curveballs, sinkers in the 85 to 87 range. Only 1 strikeout.
And a quick strike for Jace Peterson.
Left-handers are 2 for 9 against him with a homer.
Line to short. Short hop. Goins got it, and the throw to first is in time. And that retires the side. Another productive inning for the Braves. They score 2 more. Top of the order coming up for the Jays in a 6-2 game.
That's it.
Well, Nick Markakis has been anything but silent in this game. He's got 2 hits, 3 RBIs. He's scored a run.
Perfect impersonation, though.
And a perfect start for Bartolo Colon. He's got a 4-run lead again, and the top of this Jays order is coming up, and the first pitch is whacked into right field by Kevin Pillar, his 21st hit leading off an inning this year for this Blue Jays offense. And I don't care who's in their lineup or not in this park. This is a dangerous lineup in this hitter-friendly place.
Not a bad pitch location-wise, except that it was a little up, gave him a chance to reach it. The only perfect inning that Colon has had was the first. Faced 5 batters in the second, third, and fourth innings.
Here's Carrera. He has struck out and walked. Again, a 17-game hit streak as a starter for Toronto. 0 for 1 tonight. And a strike.
We've been talking about Pillar and how good a player he has become, and among the major league leaders in hits so far on the season. And as a 32nd round draft pick, you're not going to get a lot of attention from the organization unless you are consistent and do something special.
Ground ball right side. Nice play. Throw to first in time to take care of Carrera. Jace Peterson ranged to his left, and at the edge of the turf made a terrific play for the first out.
That was a big play. That was a very big play with the heart of their order coming up. Bautista standing in there. A lot different with 1 on and 1 out instead of 2 on. Great play by Jace. Back to Pillar real quick. All he did was hit .324 for his career in the minor league. So every year he kept doing all the little things right, playing great defense and hitting. They couldn't ignore him.
So runner in scoring position for Bautista, who singled back in the 3rd inning. He hit that ball right. With that in mind, Freeman's well off the line at first base. It took Jose Bautista a while to become a star in the major leagues. Remember, he was a Pittsburgh Pirate, was playing 3rd base for them in their organization. Then went to Baltimore, Tampa, Kansas City, was with the Mets, you might recall. Then went back to Pittsburgh in the Chris Benson deal, and then was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays for a catcher named Robinson Diaz. When he got to Toronto, first the 2-0 pitch. His first season with the Jays, he hit .235 in 113 games, 13 homers. But next year he exploded with a 54 homer year. He followed that up with a 43 homer season. And emerged as one of the game's elite sluggers. 2 balls and a strike. And that one's hit high in the air down the line and left. That's going to get down and rattle into the corner. It'll stay in the field of play. Bautista gallops into second with a double, and here comes Toronto again. They're relentless and trail 6-3.
Another pitch that was up. He's putting it out away from him, and Bautista's trying to pull this time, but he was able to reach it because it was up. And again, that play by Jace Peterson looming very large.
Might have saved a run. It's 6-3 for Kendrys Morales. And he had a good cut, fouled away. Might remember Morales was with the Angels, and he tore up his leg in a game-ending celebration, bouncing up and down at home plate while he was with the Angels. That cost him a full major league season. Last year, a 30-homer year for Kansas City. Line drive into left. Kemp is coming on, and he makes a tumbling catch.
Sinking and slicing. Nice play. Didn't look pretty. Stayed with it.
And that substance you're seeing flying up when the ball bounces in the outfield or under the players' bodies, or in this case Kemp's shoes, those are ground up tires. It's little rubberized pellets that give the turf its spring. So Justin Smoke, the batter. Runner at second. Bautista has a huge lead. 2 outs. And way high, ball 1. First place I saw turf like this was in Tampa Bay, where they redid their playing surface, and I was told that they could actually use a machine to groom the field. If you had a sinker ball pitcher, you can actually raise the turf on the infield. Don't know if that's still the case. And I think the last time we were here, this turf was new, and they have 2 separate turfs, one for the Argonauts football team in the Canadian Football League and the Jays, and the Argos aren't allowed to play on this. They roll it up when they got a football game and start over with the footballers' turf. So that'll keep the grounds crew busy.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if they did play on it. Call the principal again.
3 balls, no strikes. Devin Travis is on deck. And right there, strike 1. I'm told the Argonauts don't play here anymore. I guess
they don't.
They play where the soccer team plays. BMO Field is their facility. And ball 4. So Colon having a little 2-out trouble. A couple of big plays in this inning have helped him out. Peterson's at second. Kemp's diving catch in left. And now you've got to deal with Travis, who's 2 for 2 with a run and an RBI.
And he'll be the 6th hitter of the inning. Again, nothing easy. Everything's hard work.
Boy, is it a different game in this league with how you handle your starting pitcher. First the pitch to Travis, which is right there for a strike. Got to ride out these stretches. Certainly with Colon, he's been down this road before. Ian Cole getting ready in the Atlanta pen. Over but low, even count.
That's a pretty good pitch there.
Colon has only 1 strikeout. It was a called 3rd strike in the 1st inning. Two and 1. He's got Goins on deck. Oh, what a cut.
He got the pitch he wanted. He missed it. Question is, will he get another one?
Batista at second, Smoke at first. Travis will look at a 2-2 pitch. Bartolo ready for his 80th of the night. Not close. And now the runners will be off to the races. There's Goins. Bartolo ready. Here it comes. Ground ball toward third. Adonis makes the play, and the throw to first in time retires the side. Toronto settles for a run in the fifth. 6-3 your score. Dansby Swanson, Ender Inciarte, and Brandon Phillips are due. To join us at SunTrust Park Friday, June 16th for the Dansby the Flow Bobblehead Day presented by SunTrust Bank. The first 20,000 fans at SunTrust Park will get this terrific gift depicting Dansby's inside the park homer slide from last year. Dansby with a 2 RBI game. He had a second inning sacrifice fly and a 4th inning single. So nice production from the bottom of the Braves batting order today. Atlanta leads 6-3. Trying to even up their road trip record at 3-3. And that one's headed for the gap. Dansby Swanson's going to have a 2-hit night. He's on his way to second. He'll stop there. And an excellent start to the Atlanta 6th inning.
Finding holes, finding gaps, putting good swings on the ball. Like I said, I think something's moved over to Jace Peterson after Jace hit another hard one tonight right at somebody.
So this is Dansby's, I beg your pardon, first multi-hit and multi-RBI game since the end of April. And Atlanta will try to add on here with Ender Inciarte against J.P. Howell. Ender's 0 for 2 with a walk. Braves have cure the wrist demons at least for one day. They're 4 for 6 so far tonight. And a bunt, and it's a beauty. That's going to trickle out towards shortstop, and Ender's got a bunt hit.
Man, was that perfectly placed. Got him over to third and a base hit. I almost have thought that the third baseman was coming in there to help him out a little bit. But Ender bunted that ball hard on purpose. That worked out great for him. Not so good for Mr. Howell.
So he's headed to the clubhouse. 2 on, nobody out in the 6th. Toronto Blue Jays coming in on Wednesday and Thursday. $5 ticket matchups for that series. And then Pittsburgh comes in May 22nd through the 25th. Get your seats today at braves.com/tickets. Third pitcher of the night is on for the Blue Jays. It's Leonel Campos.
2 2/3 innings. Seeing he's only been in 3 games. Fastball, slider. Tough spot. First and third, nobody out. And the heart of the order up for Atlanta to try to add on.
Campos is 29, 6'3", 185 from Venezuela. Was originally a San Diego Padres signee. Toronto got him on a waiver claim after the 2015 year. First and third, nobody out. Braves just keep adding on. Boy, this has been fun to watch tonight. And Brandon Phillips is the hitter.
Right over the top, that curveball.
Houston's got a 4-1 lead tonight in Miami. Yuli Gurriel, I believe, hit a grand slam for the Astros tonight. Boy, is that a good ball club. Houston with 26 wins. Best record in the big leagues. 0-1. Instead to first, and Smoke had to pick that on a short hop.
Think Gurriel had any fans in Miami tonight?
Oh, man. Talking earlier about maybe some surprise teams. Houston having the best record might be a big surprise. Not that they're not talented. Minnesota in first place. The Yankees with all those young players in first place. Cardinals on a huge run after a very slow start. And foul back out of play. And the Colorado Rockies hanging in there out west. They lead the National League West with a 24-15 start with Bud Black, their manager.
And they're playing well, not just at home, but on the road. They've got Ian Desmond back.
Yeah, Colorado's 11-5 away from Coors Field, 13-10 at home. It's a good team. No balls, 2 strikes. And Phillips chased one. Did he tip it? He's told no and is struck out. So Campos retires the first batter faced. Freddie Freeman's coming up.
That's a big out. Chance for the Braves to blow this game open, but now Blue Jays got a chance. He can get a ground ball to get out of this inning without any runs scoring. That's a big if, though, with this big man up there.
You bet. Freddie's the batter, 0 for 3. Goins playing right behind the second base bag. As a modified shift on for Toronto. And a high fly ball scorched towards center. Pilar going back, still going back to the wall. He's not going to get it. A first pitch 3-run homer for Freddie Freeman.
I've seen Atlanta Braves hit home runs to center field here. I've seen Andrew Jones hit a ball off what was the glass in front of the restaurant out there in center field. But I don't ever recall seeing anyone hit one so high that went so far. This was a pop bottle rocket that scraped the ceiling and still dropped over the 400-foot mark. My goodness.
Freddie's 4th career homer against the Blue Jays. His 3rd career homer in this ballpark. As Kelsey told you, he loves hitting here with memories of his mom. And Atlanta has indeed broken the game open. It's 9-3 in the 6th.
Like I said, that was a big if.
Two of the 3 runs belong to J.P. Howell. And Matt Kemp is the batter. Matt is 3 for 3 tonight.
That's really something for Freddie Freeman to hit a 3-run homer too.
Haven't had many of those, has he? Braves have hit now 35 homers this year, 23 of them solo. And Kemp with a drive to right. That one's got a chance. That one is going to bounce off the base of the wall, and Matt Kemp is 4 for 4. Wow. What an offensive barrage by the Braves tonight.
What a night for him. That's 2 doubles tonight. Now he needs 4 more for 300 in his career. And he's hit him to all parts of the ballpark. Outstanding.
His first 4-hit game. So 3 more runs, 4 more hits for the Braves. We're in the 6th, and here's Markakis. Nick with 2 big 2-out RBI hits. And what a stop.
You want to just go ahead and mark it in your book or for an RBI for Nick?
Yeah, call it.
Okay. Either that or put him on. Kind of crazy.
Nine runs, 12 hits for the Braves. 3 runs, 7 hits for Toronto. Action continues in the Atlanta bullpen. We'll see how Brian Snitker decides to play it with the bottom of the Jays order coming up next. Fly ball left. Carrera drifts back. No advance. 2 outs. And Tyler Flowers is the batter. Tyler didn't get it. Strike one. Season high in runs for the Braves is 11. They did that in Milwaukee on the 29th. A win tonight would give the Braves victories in 3 of their last 4 games. And Freddie Freeman, a 3-run homer, busted this one wide open. 0-2.
Ullman's doing a nice job back there this inning, saving some bases for the pitchers. Nobody's advanced on a wild pitch thanks to him.
He'll never forget this night. His first big league hit, his first RBI. 1 of 3 for Toronto, but Matt Kemp, a 4-for-4 game, is the man at second with 2 outs in the pitch. He is ripped back out of play. We talked about this place being a hitter-friendly ballpark. It has not disappointed the Braves in Game 1.
Good at bat for Tyler. Tyler gets in these spots and he frustrates the pitchers quite often because of his ability to fight off pitches inside, even when he's behind in the count, because he keeps his hands inside the baseball so well.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Might be time for that knuckle curve.
Instead, Flowers gets hit. That's the 4th Atlanta batter to be hit by a pitched ball in this game. 3 by Bolinger. Now Campos has his first.
I was actually hoping that hit the bat because that didn't look like a good spot.
Remember, Tyler got hit in the hand last year and actually fractured a bone in his hand. Let's see where this got him.
Like the bottom hand. Yeah. And he's got that protective device on the back of his batting glove that helps protect that part of his hand, but I don't know about the heel of his hand.
A strike to Garcia. The Braves' third baseman has an RBI hit and 2 runs scored. I would imagine too, we just played a series in Miami, one of the biggest ballparks in Major League Baseball. You spend 3 days there, and then you come here. This place must look like Williamsport.
Yeah.
And the Braves have been scorching line drives all over the Rogers Center tonight. Two and one. Bolinger, Howell, and Campos have worked for the Blue Jays. None have been effective. It is a slog here in the middle innings. Little pop behind second. That is going to drop. And here comes Kemp around third. He's going to score on a blooper for Garcia. A 2 RBI night for him. And the Braves have double digits.
Tell you what, when it's going right, it is going right. And another 2-out run.
Atlanta sends its 9th man to the plate in the inning. Jace Peterson looks to get in on the fun. Ripped out a play left side.
Jays hit a rocket. One hop, short hop to Goins his last time up. He's due to find a hole.
Flowers at third. Garcia at first. 10 runs on 13 Atlanta hits. And now the 0-2 pitch is on the way. Strike 3 called. And that'll do it. 9 come to the plate. 4 score. The big blow. Freddie Freeman back in Toronto. A first pitch blast over the center field fence. We go to the home 6th. Big lead for the Bravos in game 1 north of the border tonight. Atlanta leads by 7 runs. Tonight's cold hard facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light, and run differential is tonight's feature.
Yeah, in light of tonight's game, this is a little odd, but it is the case. Minus 83 in run differential, second worst in baseball since 2015 in interleague play, and the Blue Jays second best, plus 74. That is not the case tonight.
So Ian Kroll, who was up and throwing in the 5th inning, is going to come on and pitch the 6th. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs for Bartolo Colon. And a chance for Kroll to maybe pitch multiple innings. Kroll gave up 2 runs on May 12th against the Marlins. Final line on Bartolo had him at 81 pitches, 48 for strikes.
What day was that against the Marlins? Because something really squirrely happened to him.
That was on the 12th. Gave up a home run.
Yeah, but oh, was that the ball that hit the bag when a ground ball to Freddie and hit the base?
Might have
remember?
been. Yep.
And that was with 2 outs.
That's exactly what happened.
And then Real Muto hit a homer.
So let's see if Ian can get back on the beam here with a 7-run lead. And Goins didn't get it. They've got to have a player in their system whose last name is Cummings. They've got to. They've got to find one, and they've got to make it happen.
Hopefully a second baseman.
Exactly right. Swing and a miss. Goins is gone to start the inning. Kroll off to a good start. 1 away. Ullman is the Toronto catcher. As we said, first big league hit back in the 4th inning. It brought home a Toronto run. That made it a 4-2 game. Hard hit ball to third. Adonis has it. And another errant throw, but Freeman made the play. And that's the second out of the inning. Big lead for Atlanta. Let's check in again with Jerome for an Xfinity game break. Thanks, Jerome. This is an unfair question because we haven't seen many of the other teams in the American League, but how can you not like Houston and their chances to come out of the American League this year?
I like them, and they'll be in Atlanta too. They've got to come there for 2 games. Looking to see when that is.
I think it's July 4th.
It is July 4th and 5th. If the Marlins lose and the Braves continue to win, the Braves would climb over the Marlins in the division and could actually climb into 3rd place tonight if Philadelphia. I don't know if Philadelphia's playing.
I don't think they are.
If the Phillies lost.
3 balls, no strikes for Coughlin.
Braves would move into a tie for 3rd.
There's an automatic strike. Coughlin took it. Chris O for his last 14. He's popped up twice in tonight's game. And he just took a walk with 2 outs. If there's been a thing that's plagued the Braves relief corps, and this is not that big of a deal in a 10-3 game, but there have been a lot of 2-out walks, 2-out hits. They've allowed. You just mentioned the bad luck that Kroll had in his last outing against Miami. That'd be something I'm sure that Ian and Chuck Hernandez would like to clean up.
Definitely for Ian, no matter how many outs there are. He got off to such a good start there, made Goins look bad, but that's 8 walks now in 14 1/3 innings. It's too many.
Here's Pilar. He singled to lead off the 5th and scored the 3rd and final to this point Toronto run. And didn't get that. That was a nasty slider. Strike 1. Mets are in action later on tonight. They're in Arizona taking on the Diamondbacks and Zach Godley. It's been a nightmarish trip already for New York. Had a real tough series with the Milwaukee Brewers. They lost Juris Familia to blood clot surgery. And the Mets blew a 6-run lead Sunday and lost 11-9 in Milwaukee. Arizona banged up. A.J. Pollock and David Peralta got hurt in their last game. Don't know if they'll be able to play tonight either. Pilar got jammed, fought it off, and stayed alive.
When I was talking about this guy and his minor league numbers earlier, having to prove that he could play as a 32nd round pick. His first year at Bluefield, 347. Next year, two different levels, 322, 323. In a AA, hit 313. Went to AAA, hit 299. Called up the big leagues. Did not hit so well in his first turn through at 100 at bats. He only hit 206. Went back to AAA, hit 323. And then came back up to Toronto in 2014 and hasn't looked back.
What a great deal of satisfaction he has to have again, almost as a draft and hope selection in the 32nd round. Yanked foul.
But he was probably, I'm guessing, one of those guys that they said, you know what, he can play center field. If he can hit in professional baseball, he's got a chance to be a major league player, and that's all he's done is hit.
One ball, 2 strikes, and not close. 2-2. Well, he's certainly been more selective this year. One of their notes was he's already walked 13 times in 38 games. He didn't reach a 13 walk plateau last year until the Jays played their 101st game. And that's the exact kind of patience you want out of a leadoff hitter. And this one stroked to right. And Markakis got there easily. And that retires the side. Off we go to the 7th inning. Big night for Atlanta. It's 10-3 in beautiful Toronto, Canada. Out here in Toronto. We'll explain more in a moment. First girls' night out at SunTrust Park is this Friday, May 19th. There's a pregame party with a live band at the new Coca-Cola Roxy. Then you can enjoy the Braves and the Nationals. Go to Braves.com for more information.
Our Delta flight crew, tell you what, Corliss and Anna are just killing those hot dogs.
Yes, they are. They are wonderful, wonderful people.
Yep.
And we are so lucky to have them helping us get from city to city on Delta Airlines. They do a great job for us. As Dansby swings and misses, didn't get it. 0-2. A little disappointed that Anna's drinking only water here at the Rogers Center.
Sydney there next to her.
10-3. Braves lead it after 6. And Dansby didn't get it. He's down on strikes. Dansby, though, a 2 for 3 game. And we go back to the top of the order and Ender and Ciarte. That single for Ender, a bunt last time up, and it led to a run. Freddie Freeman's homer brought him home. Campos out for another inning. He had all kinds of trouble in the 6th. To center, and Pilar is under it. He's got it. 2 away. And here's Brandon Phillips. He's been hit by a pitch. He's flied out, and he has struck out twice. Something the Braves are hoping to improve on in their interleague play is the work by their designated hitters. Braves notes said that last year In 41 at bats, the Braves DHs combined to have 7 hits.
And it seems to me that was a good year.
Yeah, interleague play has not been kind at all for the Braves. Popped up. Braves are 21 and 41 in interleague play since the start of the 2014 season. But leading and looking good tonight. They'll start singing at the 7th inning stretch in Toronto. It's 10-3 Atlanta.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
What a gorgeous downtown. The featured attraction tonight, the Rogers Center, where the Braves lead 10-3. Hope you'll join us at SunTrust Park with the all-new Family Value Plan. It gets you 4 game tickets, a parking pass, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, and starting at just $75, a savings of up to 45%. Go to Braves.com/family and spend some time with us in the Braves' new home at SunTrust Park. Ezekiel Carrera leads off for the Jays, and he's quickly down a strike. With the roof closed, we don't get a chance to see the beautiful CN Tower here at the Rogers Center. Did anybody on the crew go to the top of the tower today? That's a drive to deep center. Ender's got it, and Carrera's retired for out number 1. And I'm told the answer is no. Everybody chickened out, which I can't blame them a bit.
No.
Apparently there's an exhibit up there that lets you harness yourself to a platform and you can lean out and look down for some reason. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but I get queasy just looking at that beautiful building.
For a long time after it was built, it was the tallest freestanding structure in the world.
Really?
Yeah. Until I want to say somewhere over in.
Oh, is it Dubai?
Dubai. Thank you.
Yeah, the big tower in Dubai.
But for 20-25 years.
Can you imagine what the views would be like on a day that we had today in Toronto, where you can practically see Mount Rushmore from high above the ballpark?
I had a teammate that thought it was built to connect with aliens.
Really? Well, it might be. You never know.
Sending out signals, you know.
It's quite possible.
It's tall enough.
Right? Bautista, 2 balls and a strike. And he drives that one to deep right. Nick Markakis is back. He's got it. By the way, this is a anniversary day for Bautista. 1 year ago today, let's just say things got a little interesting with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, it's not one he wants to really remember fondly. Got hit by a pitch.
That was in response to his bat flip in the playoffs the year before, and after he got hit, he took it out on Brunette Odor And bang.
Ow. Ow. Didn't go down, though.
And after he hit that home run, that sparked a whole lot of debate around Major League Baseball. These so-called unwritten rules of the game. What's showing off? What's showmanship? At the time he hit that home run, it was such a huge blow in the game, and the emotion when he threw the bat away. I'm not even a Toronto fan. I got excited when he hit that ball.
Maybe if he had tossed it toward his dugout,
might have been.
Might have helped.
Might have helped, yeah. Tough night for Batista and the Jays to this point. 2-0 the count as Morales turns around and hits right-handed. Kendris is 0 for 3. And a 2-out walk. That's again a repeat performance from Cole. And you know he's not happy about that. Here's Smoke. Something else Smoke has improved on is his power from this side of the plate. He's already hit 4 homers against lefties this year. He had just 3 homers against them all of last season. That's nice. Switch hitting first baseman with power from both sides of the plate and a good glove. What's that worth in today's game? Flowers can't hang on, but no advance by Morales. And an even count.
I don't know how many at bats he got last year, but it was hard to get him on the field on a consistent basis because they had Encarnacion and Bautista and in a crowded outfield.
Well, he's found a ballpark that suits his skill set much more than Seattle and Safeco Field, if memory serves. Seattle's a lot like Marlins Park. That's a tough place to make your living if you want to be a home run hitter. But here, hit it high, watch it fly.
Yeah, he only got 299 at bats last year. And hit 217.
Come on, Ian. Got a 7-run lead. 3 balls and a strike. Back-to-back walks. And that's going to be the end of the line for Ian Cole. An inning and 2/3. But 3 walks and a strikeout. That's rather disappointing. 33 pitches as well for Kroll. 7th inning continues in Toronto. It's 10-3 Braves in front.
No, hot dog's not a sandwich. Hot dog's a hot dog. Everybody knows that.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? I guess you could. I don't know.
What?
Is it a sandwich? What's the correct answer? You guys know?
I mean, yeah, bread with some meat in it. I would consider a hot dog a sandwich for sure.
I would have to say no. A hot dog is not a sandwich.
That's one of the great debates of all time in baseball history. Is a hot dog a sandwich? My answer is, if the hot dog bun is totally split and is separated, it's not stuck together on one side, then you really do have two pieces of bread with the meat in it, like Matt Kemp said.
Well, then that would be a bad hot dog.
That's probably the case. As Jason Mott is on for his 8th game.
It's got to be stuck together at the bottom to hold all the ketchup and relish that falls down the sides of the hot dog.
Right. I'm not arguing with you, but I'm just saying, sometimes you go to a ballpark and you get the bun's all soggy and you start to put the ketchup and stuff in and it splits apart. Then you got a real mess on your hands, which means it's a sandwich. Devin Travis, by the way, has had a good night at the plate. Braves with a 7-run lead, 2 on, 2 out, and up and under at 93 miles an hour.
If you want to let the Blue Jays back in this ball game, they're certainly willing to take advantage.
Well, you give them a couple runs here, which you don't want to have happen. You guarantee that guys like Batista and Morales and Smoke are going to come up again, and that might be the case. Opposite field hit. That's going to bring Morales home. He's going to lumber in safely. It's 10-4 game. Runners are at second and third with 2 outs. It's a 10-4 score. So the walks costly here in the inning. And Travis, another double.
Slider away. Good night for him. He hits it that way, picks up his 2nd RBI of the night, his 2nd double.
Goins is 0 for 3. He's the shortstop. He struck out last time up. To second, and that should do it. It will. Toronto gets a 7th inning run. They cut the lead to 10-4 as we get set to go to the 8th. First, we join Jerome Jurenovich in Atlanta with tonight's big story. Lead it off. Great stat online tonight. As Freddie earns our Yellowwood Bringing the Lumber honors for the Braves. He's now played against 10 different teams and he's hit a homer against all of them this year.
Well, this one was a skyrocket that went over 400 feet. 3-run shot. He brought the lumber.
So Freeman now with 13 homers, 23 RBIs, and he'll get things started for Atlanta. Freeman, Kemp, and Markakis. This is game 1 of 2 played in Toronto. Jaime Garcia's got the ball for the Braves in game 2 tomorrow. Marco Estrada will pitch for the Jays. The series heads back to Atlanta Wednesday and Thursday nights. Joe Biagini pitches for the Jays on Wednesday. Mike Foltynewicz for the Braves. And then Thursday, Marcus Stroman and Julio Teheran. That'll be a good matchup
Sure
too.
will.
Shift on for Freddie, and he didn't get it. It's 0-2. Bartolo Colon's in line to pick up his second win as a Brave. Bartolo closing in on Juan Marichal for most wins among Dominican-born pitchers, and needs 11 victories for most among all Latin American pitchers. That record held by El Presidente Dennis Martinez. Freeman's down on strikes. That's how the 8th inning starts. And here's Matt Kemp. Matt's got a 4-for-4 night. He does have a 5-hit game in his major league career. He's got a great chance to do it again here. Last 3 weeks have been spectacular for Matt Kemp. He's our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
And that includes his work tonight. 350 average over his last 19. 4-for-4 will help bump you up a little bit.
He's put 26 points on his average in tonight's game alone. From 320 to 346. One ball, one strike. It stayed high. And 2-1. Houston 6, Miami 2 now. That game in the bottom of the 8th inning down in Miami. Mets and Arizona, no score. Kemp takes high. Now he's in the driver's seat, 3-1. Dodgers play the Giants. Brandon McCarthy will be on the hill for LA. Alex Wood, by the way, the former Brave, named the National League Player of the Week.
He's really been dealing.
11 scoreless innings with 21 strikeouts and 2 walks. Perfect pitch, full count.
Yeah, it was a good 3-1 pitch after all those attempts upstairs and out of the zone at a breaking ball that didn't come down.
And Kemp has a perfect night at the plate. He's going to take ball 4 with 1 out. And Campos with his first base on balls in the game.
Here comes John Gibbons.
So Aaron Loop was the man throwing in the Toronto bullpen. Gibbons doesn't want to, but he's going to have to make another pitching change. We'll tell you all about Mr. Loop. He'll face Nick Markakis with Braves up big late.
the Blue Jays. Tyler Flower due up second to face him. He was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. Check out some of these numbers. In his last 275 at-bats, he's been hit by a pitch 16 times. Before that, in the last 1,618 at-bats, he was hit 27 times. Now, Tyler says he hasn't changed a thing. He's just getting thrown in, and now he's not scared, so he's not going to move. So it's nothing been changed in his approach, more just the way that the pitchers have been approaching him.
Yeah, just pretend you're catching.
And forgot your equipment.
Right. Zarin Loop is on to pitch for the Blue Jays.
Little crossfire action. Low 90s fastball and a slider.
And another Brave got hit by a pitch tonight. This is unbelievable. That's 5. And you could hear Nick Markakis grunt and grimace as that ball smoked him right under the armpit.
Better the back than the elbow. If this team in the first base dugout were the Texas Rangers, we'd have already had like 3 fights. But
yeah,
I mean, none of them have had any malicious intent. They just haven't been. Their relief corps and Bolinger have been all over the place.
5 hit batsmen is a new franchise record for a single game for the Blue Jays. Bolinger hit 3, Campos hit 1. Now Loop hits the first batter he faces, and Tyler Flowers, part of the Black and Blue Brigade, plunked his last time up, digs in. Foul away.
Seeing those unwritten rules that we talk about a lot. Common sense prevails here that none of these have been intentional. You don't want to have somebody go out for the Braves and try to show that I'm protecting my team because there's no need for it.
No balls, 2 strikes.
If after Freddie Freeman's 3-run homer, if they'd plunked Matt Kemp right away, then all of a sudden you've got something
right
to work from.
And luckily, from the Braves' perspective, everything's been below the chest. Nothing's been up around the shoulders or the head like Chris Iannetta the other day in Arizona.
Oh,
that was one of the worst. He suffered a broken nose, some fractured teeth. And after he was taken to the hospital and checked out, he actually came back to the ballpark that night.
No kidding.
And I don't believe he's been placed on the disabled list. Maybe he has for the Diamondbacks. And Clint Hurdle, who knows all about the bad blood that has existed in the past between the Diamondbacks and Pirates, said, look, this was not intentional. I love Chris Iannetta. I managed him in Colorado. It was just a horrible freak occurrence with a fastball up around and above the shoulders. Luke with a strike. Garcia took it. He's behind 0-2. Two on, 2 out again for Atlanta. The Braves have had base runners in virtually every inning. But Garcia's down swinging, and that takes care of the Braves in the 8th. 10-4.
Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, a fun night for the Braves batsmen in Toronto tonight. 10 runs on 13 hits. Freddie Freeman is homered. Matt Kemp a 4-hit game. Nick Markakis 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Bartolo Colon back on the beam. He's in line for a much-needed win. And the Braves need 6 outs with a 6-run lead. And out of play, Mike Ullman. The Toronto catcher is behind 0-2. Jason Grilly's up in the Toronto bullpen, the former Brave. Might get a tune-up inning in the 9th. Upstairs. Told you they need to sign a guy named Cummins. That doesn't work. They need to find a guy play the middle infield named River, because then you'd have old man River trying to get guys out on stolen base tries. Just an idea. No?
I'm sorry.
Back to the play-by-play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think my headphones were breaking up. I'm not sure.
Full count. Coughlin next. Good cut. As we said a couple of times, I love stories like this. Guys that work so hard so long finally get a chance to play. And while I'm sure he's disappointed in how his pitching staff performed tonight, it's an unforgettable night for this guy with his first major league hit. And he just struck out. Mott got him looking. Ullman didn't think so. He's had a bird's eye view to all those pitches and disagreed with Quinn Walcott's strike zone on that pitch call. 1 out. Chris Coughlin walked last time up. He's popped out 2 other times to the plate.
What was that record that Coughlin set when he got called up by the Marlins that year?
I think it was like
most hits,
number of hits, because he came up in the second half of the season.
Yeah, July,
and had like 100-something hits in the final 2.5 months of the year. Won the Rookie of the Year with the Fish. And Freddie Freeman backhand, Mott to the bag, good play. Coughlin's tough luck at the plate continues. 2 outs. Freddie's not just doing it with the bat, he's done it with the glove tonight too. Remember that terrific play he made, falling backwards in foul ground to keep contact with the bag. A nice feed to the pitcher here in the 8th.
good glove man, and a big target.
Pilar 1 for 4 with a 5th inning run scored. Mentioned the Braves' issues with the American League. Toronto's had no luck against the National League this year. They're in danger of falling to 1-5 against the senior circuit in interleague play. Toronto lost 2 games to the Brewers. They went 1-2 against the Cardinals. Pop fly out of play by Pilar. 2-1 the count. You mentioned their great attendance here, averaging about 37,000. At that pace, they're roughly a quarter of the way through their schedule. They're on pace to draw 2.8, 2.9 million fans again.
Right at 30,000 here tonight.
That stayed high. 3 balls and a strike. I don't know what baseball's plans are for more teams, less teams, whatever. But if they decide to go back to Montreal, wouldn't that be an amazing rivalry if Toronto and the Expos squared off? And Dansby booted that one. Dansby tried to dress one up earlier in the game that cost him a 2-base error. This one a 2-out miscue. And the errors are piling up a bit for the Braves shortstop.
Looked like an easy hop. I asked him about the turf before the ball game, and he said no. Played on it at Vanderbilt. Not a problem.
So for Dansby, a 2-hit, 2 RBI, but 2-error night. And a little extra work here for Mott. As Ezequiel Carrera is the batter. Remember, he's got that long hit streak as a starter on the line. That one got away from Flowers. Pilar to second.
If I'm the manager, Brian Snitker, and I'm not, but I'd be over there yelling out to my team, let's go, tighten this up and finish it off.
An error and then a passed ball puts Carrera in the driver's seat in an RBI spot. 1 ball, no strikes. Tied him up. 2-0. $29,766 the crowd. Many have headed for Yorkville. 3-0. And the 2-out walks, the 2-out 3-ball counts that we've seen in this game. Frustrating, especially with a gigantic lead of 6 runs. Braves have thrown 11 3-ball counts in this game. Mott's got it full now. And Carrera drives one to right. His starter's hit streak should be over. That's the inning, and we are off to the ninth. 10-4 Atlanta the lead. Peterson, Swanson, and Ender and Ciarte get another crack at the Jays pitching staff. there's a familiar face. A really good guy who did a really good job while he wore the Braves uniform. Jason Grilli back in Toronto, where he needs a tune-up, needs to get back into good form. Times have been tough for him of late.
Yeah, lately he's had a hard time of it because opponents are 7 for 17 with 2 doubles and 2 homers against him over his last 6 games, and that's what's pumped his ERA up close to 8. Suffered his 3rd loss and first blown save when he gave up a home run to Evan Longoria on the 28th of April, and from there it's been not a good spiral.
Jason saved 24 games for the Braves in 2015. That was 24 games before the All-Star break, you might recall. And on that fateful day at Coors Field in Denver, when Jason Grilli ruptured his Achilles tendon, that was the end of the season. And then 2016, he came back, pitched in 21 games with Atlanta to a 5.29 ERA, and I think we would all agree Jason, being the competitor he is, came back a little too soon from that Achilles.
Yeah.
And then with Toronto making a playoff push last year, May 31st, the Braves traded him for right-handed pitcher Sean Ratcliffe and cash. And Grilli did a good job in 46 games here last year. He won 6 of them, saved 2.
Part of their big postseason push.
He did a good job in postseason play last year. 4 appearances, 2 2/3 innings of 1 hit shutout ball in relief. He's had a very nice career. Had a 33 save season with the Pirates in 2013. And out of play by Jace Peterson, full count. Jason's 40. He'll be 41 in November.
Still throws hard.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball to Goins, and his throw to first in time. You can still hear the unmistakable grunt of Jason Grilli when he turns it loose. He is a max exertion, max effort guy, and sometimes that grunt really sells something that's not as hard as it seems. So ground ball out, gets Peterson. Here's Dansby Swanson. Let's see if Dansby can pick up a 3rd hit.
Dansby's raised his average 34 points since the beginning of this road trip.
He's at 185 now officially. Foul back, strike 1. Driven to right and pretty well hit, but Bautista barely had to move. So Dansby hit the ball hard just about every time up tonight. More encouraging signs at the plate. And Ender Inciarte another shot. He's 1 for 4 with a bunt single and a run scored.
That was instrumental in the 4-run 6th inning after Swanson had led off with a double.
Broken bat, bouncing ball to 3rd. Coughlin's got it, And that bat split in half lengthwise. And Jason Grilli, a nice inning in relief. He needed that. And the Braves need 3 more outs to seal a 10-4 win. App, it's going to make catching every Braves game a whole lot easier. Just download Fox Sports Go from your app store. Log in and stream the Braves baseball wherever you go. We have gone to Toronto, and the Braves bats have gone crazy. 10 runs, 13 hits. They lead 10-4 in game 1. A chance to even up the road trip to 3 up, 3 down. That's exactly the kind of inning Josh Coleman would like to have here.
You'd love it. Numbers 3, 4, 5 in the order will be coming up for him in his 9th game, all in relief. A couple of recent outings have bumped up his ERA, so a good chance for him to get tuned up for more tense action, shall we say, down the road.
Jose Bautista will get things started in the 9th, and that missed. Ball 1. 2 hits for Bautista. One of them an RBI double in the 5th. He now has 18 runs batted in for the Blue Jays, and outside. Ball 2. Right back our way, and foul. 2 balls and a strike. Houston polished off Miami tonight. That's a final 7-2. Joe Musgrove picked up his 3rd win for the Astros. They're now 27-12. Mets have scored first in Arizona. They lead the Diamondbacks 1-0. Zach Wheeler pitching for New York. They're desperate for a win. Bautista got jammed, skies it down the left field line. Kemp will not be able to get there. And the count 2-2. Sharply hit and through the shift. Bautista's starting to heat up. He's 3 for 5. Here's Morales.
Yeah, we'd heard about his power returning. 3 homers, 8 RBIs in his last 7 games. And tonight he has a 3-hit game, 3 for 5. Drove in a run.
Morales walked and scored in the 7th. And he takes Steve right 1. Cleveland won tonight. They beat Tampa Bay 8-7. The Indians starting to heat up. They're 20-17 now. Hit well toward left. Kemp is there and has it. And there's the first out. 2 more to get in the ninth. Here's Smoke. Smoke's reached 3 times. He's doubled, scored, and walked twice.
Heard something interesting today that Babe Ruth hit his first professional home run in Toronto. They had a ballpark over on what's referred to as the Toronto Islands, and he hit it into the Toronto Bay. 1914.
They haven't changed it to Babe Ruth Bay like McCovey Cove and
No.
Frisco. One ball, no strikes. Swing and a drive. No doubt about that one. Full extension for Smoke. He never hit for a high average in Seattle. He's hitting for a high average this year. That's his 8th home run, 25 RBIs now.
And maybe it's coming from regular at bats. He just waited for that one to come back out over the middle of the plate. This is the 4th straight outing for Colementor where he's allowed runs.
So it's a little tighter than you'd like now. 10-6.
3rd of May against the Mets, 1 inning, 5 hits, 4 runs. 5th of May, 2 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs against the Cardinals. 2 days later against St. Louis, an inning, a home run, and 2 runs. And then tonight.
That one's hammered down the left field line and off the facade of the second deck and foul by about 8 feet. Josh is not missing many bats in this 9th inning. Struck him out. Travis couldn't pull the trigger. And the Braves are out away now. Ryan Goins the batter. He is hitless in 4 tries. Ball 1. Jaime Garcia, Marco Estrada tomorrow night. Strike 2. Excuse me, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Estrada's pitched well too. 2-2, a 3.12 ERA. More strikeouts than innings pitched.
Fans might remember him with the with the Milwaukee Brewers, and with Toronto, a 13-win season 2 years ago.
Great changeup. Braves will see a lot of those tomorrow.
2-2. Braves a strike away from their 14th win. And popped foul. Another pop fly into the stands. And a fan from Washington, D.C. dropped it. Nat fans can't catch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball game right down the middle. Cole Mentor ends it. Atlanta wins 10-6. Freddie Freeman with a homer, scored twice. Matt Kemp 4 hits. Nick Markakis 3 RBIs. Adonis 2 RBIs. Dansby 2 hits, 2 RBIs. And in 3 hours and 15 minutes, Joe, the Braves put 10 on the board and have evened up their record at 3-3 on the road.
And as we knew early in the ball game, Chip, the Braves needed to keep adding on, and they did. Good night all around, as you said.
Bartolo Colon is the winner. Mike Bolinger is the losing pitcher. Braves will try to sweep the Canada portion of this series tomorrow night behind Jaime Garcia. Plenty of good things to talk about with you on Braves.